All right, so I have not done a development video in a very long time. I think it's been like 2 months or something. And so I decided, okay, I need to get back into it. I need to keep going. I've just been like really busy with work. And so when I get off of work, I am exhausted. I just want to come home and sleep. But I need to get back into the habit of doing these videos where it's more of a relaxed environment where we're just playing around with different ideas and exploring those different concepts that we're interested in. So it's a much more relaxed and chill environment where we're just developing, playing around, having a good time. So that's kind of the idea with these videos. And so what I want to do today is I am curious about, okay, I really want to understand more about how to actually be able to work with a lot of these orchestration tools to be able to deal with and interact with LLMs. So, the idea that I'm thinking about building today is I will have a server, and the server is going to be hitting my orchestration tool. So now, what we could do, I was thinking about, okay, well, which tool do I actually want to utilize for this project? And now the main one is LangChain. So LangChain is that's like the biggest orchestration tool. But then if we want to stay within the .NET environment, we are able to use this other one called semantic kernel. Now, the way that I'm thinking about doing this is having just separate Docker containers for each of our services. So we're actually not confined to be within one singular uh, ecosystem. So we're going to have our web server, which is within the .NET environment. And then that doesn't mean that we have to have our orchestration tool also within the .NET ecosystem. So we can kind of break those out a little bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We might also be able to, do a separate Docker container where we have where we're able to, instead of hitting the LangChain orchestration tool, we're able to go and hit the semantic kernel. So we might be able to expand it and play around with a different form of what we were doing with the LangChain. So now, what do I actually want to do in the LangChain? So I was thinking about this, and one of the main things that I obviously am wanting to explore is, okay, well, we're going to be getting a user request that's going to hit our server, and then our server is going to be hitting our uh, orchestration tool. Now, from this, our orchestration tool is going to be needing to determine, like, okay, well, what should I be doing? So that means invoking tools if that's required. Maybe we need to be supplementing the request with extra data, right? So we're going to be storing in a vector database information that we are wanting to keep, and then being able to implement the RAG architecture, or I don't know what you would call it, retrieval augmented generation, I think. But essentially, where you're able to take in uh, data, extra data, and be able to supplement a call to the LLM to be able to get better and more specific responses based off of your like custom hidden, I'll call it, right? Because you don't want to expose that information to the public, maybe. So you have your like company data that you want, a little bit hidden, and then but you want to be able to utilize that to make your the LLM to respond to the user's request based off of that particular information here in the database. So being able to do that. Also, we want to be able to block the user if they are asking a query which is in non-conformance to our policies, right? Like if they're asking to do something dangerous or something like that. So we need some mechanism for blocking requests that don't conform, and logging telemetry. So I want to be able to, I'm envisioning that we'll have logging in multiple different locations. So the first one is within the orchestration tool itself. We will be able to log information about what kind of things the user is trying to get, trying to figure out how many tokens they use, how many tools were invoked in each call, trying to understand kind of the meaning behind what they're trying to get. So all of that would belong within the orchestration of the LangChain can be kind of coagulated together and then sent off to something. And now I need to figure out what that something is. I'm thinking, obviously, it needs to be a separate Docker container, but I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe would an SQLite database be the correct one? Would it be like where do I actually store that data, and in what format do I store it? Because the web server is also going to be collecting data, right? When the user makes a request, we're going to want that request, we're going to want to time it, right? So we can get our latency and do all of our like P99 latency and all that information to figure out how long it actually took, and then also collect that data, store it somewhere, and then be able to present that data. So whatever, like Grafana or something. We'll have to figure out all of this stuff. But right now, what I want to do first off is just get kind of the scaffolding up. So let's do that. Let me make myself a little bit smaller. Here we are, right? Okay, so I have my I just have an empty folder right here, LLM monitor. There we are, right? No, look at this. Watch. ls minus la. Ha! I tricked you. See? You have to be careful with me sometimes. I'm crafty. We have a hidden git. I already did the git in it. All right. So anyways, there's a hidden folder there, but it appears to be empty. So let's actually start filling this out. So I am right here, and so in this folder. Now let's actually start off and get the web server. So I'm gonna, as I mentioned, I am going to be using this right here, the just .NET web server. So let's .NET new web. I'm just gonna call it server. -o server. Okay, that should create our program.cs and our, here we are. So now I should be able to come here and let's .NET build, and it would help if I was in the right project as well. Okay, and then we'll run it. Okay, and figure out what server this, or what endpoint this is running at. All right, so let's copy you and just make sure that everything is up and running. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay, so obviously we might as well make ourselves feel a little bit good and do a initial commit, right? But I have another trick up my sleeve, which is we need a Docker ignore. So I just have like the normal items for which we want to have in our Docker ignore. So I am going to create another one here. Not Docker ignore, sorry, git ignore. Git ignore. There we go. Paste you into there, and now we should be good. All right, so git status. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Make sure that we have what we want. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Initial server commit. Sure. All right. So we are good there. Okay, cool. So now I guess what we need to do is change our. Do we want to get the. All right, so we're also going to need a Docker compose file, right? So, and I'm just trying to first off get the general scaffolding of kind of where I want to go. So Docker pose YAML, I think. I don't know exactly what what we are going or the format is. I think it's like sir this is or something. I don't know. Let's come here. Docker compose example maybe. Okay. Services. All right, let's just well, not copy and paste the entire thing. Sure, and then we can just change this for what we want. Okay. So now and is it just YAML? Okay, hold on, let me rename you. There we go. That looks better. That looks a lot better. Okay, so we have our services. That's good. And now web. Okay, so database. We don't have any of this yet. We don't know if it's going to be this. And we don't know. We'll have to have volumes, but we don't know which ones we want. Okay, so let's see. We need a Docker file in here. Okay. And now let's search for full Docker file. Okay. No, this isn't what we want. I want a Docker file that builds and compiles a .NET application. That builds and compiles an application. Okay. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Multi-stage. So from Microsoft.NET SDK, which one are we targeting? Hold on, let me look at the project file. Which one? .NET 11. Okay. I should just be able to change that number. Source CS project .NET restore. Yes. I think ASP.NET, right? Yeah. So the server. And then stage 2, so we are going to just be exposing port 8080 and then doing that call. Okay, that looks about right. So let's paste you into there. Let's change these. So we're going to be targeting 11 and 11. Okay. Now we're going to be doing .NET on which DLL are we actually invoking? Server DLL, I think. Okay. Server DLL, and we should be exposing port 8080, which in our Docker compose, I believe we're okay. I mean, all of this is going to have to change. We're not doing node. Yeah, we're not doing any of this. But well, this is just kind of a scaffolding, you know. Fine. Um, okay, so we got that, and I'm just going to I'm going to leave it for now, and then we'll just get the other components that we're kind of looking for. So what else do we need? We have our server, and now we are going to need our actual lang chain. So let's do another folder, and I'm going to call it lang chain. Sure, lang chain. All right, now lang chain, we're going to have to, um, let's see, where am I? And I want to get into LangChain now. So now I need to create a virtual environment. I always mess this up. Python 3. Is it, so Python 3, that's the CLI that I'm invoking. The command within, I believe, is venv. And then the path, which is, I think this is it. No. Is it swapped? I don't know. No? Alright, well. I tried. Create virtual environment Python. So, okay, Python -m. Okay, I just missed -m. Awesome. And I believe it was this one. Okay, -m here. There we go. So now I should have. Do you want to select the word? Just no. Okay. So now I should be able to come in here and I should have a hidden file which is that venv. Let's verify that. ls la, and then from there we go. Now within that there should be a hidden file which, or not, maybe it's not hidden. -la, and I believe this is called like activate or something, or maybe bin activate. Okay, so I need to go into bin, right? And then there's activate, yeah. Okay, awesome. So now in my lang chain, yes, good. I want to do source, and so that's gonna keep it in my path, or that load that environment variable in my path. And from that, I am going to go into .v bin activate. Okay, now we can do our pip install. And what do we actually want to install? This one, I'm going to want to create a new thing, which is like, maybe, I don't know, lang.python. I don't know what to call it. From, and this is where we need to actually figure this out. Lang chain documentation. All right. So, let's see if we're able to. All right, so we want to install this, although I don't. Okay, so yeah, this kind of forces the question of what model do we actually want? And as of right now, I don't want to be hitting an open or like I don't want to be hitting a web API. I want to be hitting an OLLAMA. So now that is going to cause another problem, right? So my Docker container, I'm going to be needing to hit something on like my host system. And as I just leaned back, which kind of reset my frame of view. When I was here, I didn't see it. When I was here, guess what? Look at that. OLLAMA. Huh. Well, there we go. Okay, cool. So this is the one that I want. So this is my pip install that I want to do. So I'll just come here, and then I think I didn't copy the P, so I'll just paste that in there and do this. Cause conflicts. Would you like to create a? I'm already in a virtual environment. That's we're fine. Okay. So now let's see. LangChain.agents, create agent, and then we are going to be doing this. Okay. The other thing that I'm gonna have to try to figure out is I actually do not have my system is not powerful enough to actually run any LLMs. I'm gonna have to create a dummy LLM. To be kind of honest, I don't even know if my system has enough RAM to run, because to do this, I need Docker desktop running, right? I'm recording a video, and if I have OLLAMA running, I don't know how much power OLLAMA needs, but I'm slightly concerned about it. But anyways, let's take this for the time being, and we can kind of place this in here. Okay. So now what I really want is what would be helpful, and I'm going to try to figure this out, is does OLLAMA have an LLM that is essentially a dummy LLM? And what I mean by that is something which is very simple. No matter what you say to it, it's just going to respond with a default sentence, essentially. But it is going to be that default sentence within kind of like the expected format of what LangChain is expecting. And so we'll be able to play around with it, and then if we have a more powerful system, then we can just do a one-line swap and change out that name, and instead of, maybe this is like OLLAMA simple or something like that. So instead of OLLAMA simple, then we'll have whatever OLLAMA and then llama 8 billion for an 8 billion parameter model, or whatever we want to do. DeepSeek. I mean, there's plenty of open source models that we can select from. The other thing that I'm seeing is like they're having tools here, and then the system prompt and all of that. So we're gonna try to dig into this and be able to play around and make this into what we're looking to actually do. But as of right now, we're just trying to get that scaffold. Okay, so once again, and now I need to change to actually this one. Oh, it's in trash. Okay, let's kill this terminal, add a new terminal. Okay, where am I now? Okay, cool. So that's where I want. will not be committed. Oh, right. Duh. Okay. This is correct, but what about my lang chain? Is it acting like it is not staged? Is it within here or something? I don't know. Because I know that I did something with lang chain. Dot lang chain. This should be fine. It might be because I named this lang chain. Let me rename this actually. Lang chain service. I don't know. Okay. Lang chain service. I don't know. Anyways. Because it's not. Wait, is this within the virtual? Wait, what? Why would that be? Shouldn't it be here? Why would it be in? Yeah, okay, no wonder. Though. Yeah, no wonder it's gonna cause. Okay, I messed that up, which now throws into question if my virtual environment. Anyways, okay, we'll figure that out. Let's make sure it's correct. Okay, here we go. Here we go. That's right. So now commit this. So initial lang chain commit. Okay. This should work. I think I set my upstream. I guess I did not set. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. I'll figure my upstream out later. Okay, we're running. We just keep running into problems. Okay, so we have that. That's fine. So now our Docker Compose, we are going to want to have a service. Okay, so let's kind of fill out our services. So what is the first one going to be? This one is going to be our web server, right? And so the name, I guess I can web server, and then the image is not going to be we're not going to have an image because it's going to be from the Docker file, right? So we don't want that. And then container name, that's fine actually. This one is okay. Container name, web app, yes. Command, I think we want to do like entry point, right? And ports, we'll have to expose like 8080. Okay. And then we want to do something, let's see, we're like that, there we go. Then we'll want to do something similar with the lang chain service. So very similar. lang chain service. Okay, and then container name is going to be lang chain. I'm just gonna, I don't know, call it this. Can those conflict? Well, again, we'll figure that out later. All right, so now, what else do we need? I will want to come in here and actually do we'll want to build this out a little bit more to know what ports we want to map out, right? So that's going to be here, and we want to, we have the default there. Where's the, I want to do the actual builder. Okay. All right, whatever. So what is this? Caching. Okay. Okay. Do we want to have this right here? We want to be able to invoke, we want to be able to add middleware functions, right? To be able to process this. And then from that, I want to, from those middleware functions, I want to be able to like hit my lang chain. So that's kind of what I want to do. So I'm going to need, I do need the builder, and I'll need to obviously create my application, but then I need to take that application and actually add, so here's middleware. Okay. Let's see if they give an example of just like a default. Okay. So write async, and then is this in a separate class? Okay. Here we go. So here's the next dot invoke. So we need to pass in that HTTP context and then the next in the chain of the middleware. Okay. So I need to figure out how I want to actually are we going to have one API endpoint or multiple? Maybe I should have thought about this before I started the video. Well, you know, as I said, like it's a very just like, you know, we're just playing around with stuff. It's not too serious. Okay. I think as of right now, I'm just going to do one endpoint. Yeah. Okay. So we should, I'm just gonna copy this. Let's see if this runs. Was it KC? Does that, okay, cool, it works here too. Paste you into there. Let's see if this runs. So now I need to go into this directory, server, and then .NET build. Okay, let's make sure .NET run. Okay, so it does seem to be working. And what is the API which we are hitting right now? Is it just at it like defaulted to the home directory? I'm not sure. Let's. Okay. Is there any logging that took place? Okay, so it is just defaulted to the home directory. Okay, that's fine. I guess we can work with this. Okay, so now what we will need to do is we are passing in this anonymous function here, and we actually don't want to have this anonymous function anymore. We want to break this out into a separate function or class, right? So we will do that. But from there, I am going to, we're going to have to essentially do our stopwatch. So this is where we'll do our like starting and stopping, and then we'll want to send it out back to the other service, whatever we're going to be doing to do all of those collecting, as I was mentioning, right? And then there's another thing that I want to experiment with, which is like using, what is it? YARP, I think it is. Yet another reverse proxy. What is that NuGet package? I'm not. Okay. Okay. YARP. Example. Getting started with YARP. Okay. So. We already did that. .NET add. So we want to add this NuGet package. And that will just change our CS proj file. Make sure that I'm in the right directory. So, yep, there we go. So we're going to add that NuGet package. And now figure out what is the using statement? Okay. So we'll have our builder, and we want to do the add services, and then we'll need this configuration folder. Although I don't actually think that I want to immediately do that right now. I'm thinking that this is going to be something that we do in the future, but I am... Okay, so we're going to do that, and then we also need to do this right here, yeah. Okay. And... Okay. So we don't need all of these middleware functions. We're only going to need one. Okay. I'm just gonna copy the YARP stuff out for right now because I think I will investigate how I want to do that a little bit later. Um, okay. So now, yeah. Now I want to also think about. I'm trying to determine if now I think about where I'm, like, what I want to actually hit for logging the stuff, or if we just do that later. I'll have to think about that. I don't really know. Um, all right, but I am noticing that it's midnight. I should probably get to sleep. Um, and then yeah, tomorrow we can continue working on this. And yeah, so anyways, I will leave the video off here. And thanks for watching, and see you guys soon.